Okay.
Charlie one and
You're
Charlie
both
two.
ready? You ready?
Go.
Okay.
We're both ready.
Okay, so it's
7:02.
7:02, and may I have a motion to call to order the Board of Trustees, Library Board of Trustees meeting? Anybody?
I made the motion.
Oh, thank
A
you,
second.
Laurel. Charlie, thank you. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Quorum's present, we're good. So the only one missing is Kathy and Chris. So, so anyway, this is my dirty tissue.
Yes.
Sorry. And, so the goal of the meeting today is a single agenda item, to catch everybody up on, the citizens account. Barbara had, made mention of, the finance director, contacting the citizens account people and asking, so that was a couple of meetings ago. That was a live meeting, and, was it the last one or the
Yeah.
one before that?
No, it was August.
Okay, and, so anyway, the Board of Selectmen have asked us to come, Barbara and I to come in and talk. I always think, to them about the situation. Barbara is totally on top of everything, and, I'm gonna ask her to be able to speak to everything, have everybody listen, and then wait, and then ask questions, and I'm gonna try to go in an orderly fashion, cause Laurel is going to another meeting. And so she's gonna get to ask questions first.
Okay. If anybody needs a piece of paper to jot down their questions,
While we're,
well, because I really would like you not to interrupt, because there's many moving parts to this, and chances are I'm gonna answer one of your questions by the time I get to the next moving part, but in case I don't, I've got
Jot it
paper.
down.
Okay.
Can I share?
Hmm?
You want
Okay.
one in paper?
This all started back. um, put it on my desk.
So we're on the Board of Selectmen's agenda. We couldn't make their 22nd meeting because I was on vacation. And so we're on the agenda for their meeting, the Tuesday,
Yeah.
so it's September 6th.
Yes, Tuesday the 6th.
So I would love as many of us that can make it to that meeting to come, because it's not really just for Barbara and I to answer, because we're all, a committee. You know,
No
a
time.
board, we're
We
full.
haven't been put on
We
the
haven't
agenda
been
yet, so we
given a
don't know.
time yet, but I will send that out in the email, to let you know the time.
Okay, this started on July 11th. Denise sent an email to a man at Citizens asking who were the signers on the account, and what the account number was, and if they're using the tax ID number, and it looks like there was another account, but it looks like the money was just transferred. Could you provide information? Okay. They called me that afternoon, this happened in the morning. They called me that afternoon and said, we can't give her any information, she's not on the account. And I said, okay, fine, send me the email and I will respond in kind. And this email that she sent to this Patrick was then forwarded to the people that really handle the accounts. And they called me first, and I said, okay, fine, yeah, just send it to me. And then she sent me, here's the email I just spoke to you about, blah, blah, blah. Then the next, and she sent me that on July 13th, at 4 in the afternoon. The next day, I sent Denise an email, and then I let the citizens know that, in fact, I had updated her. My email to
So
her.
you close that loop, sorry.
Yeah, so so my email to Denise was basically, hello Denise, hope you're well, enjoying the heat. Your email to citizens has been forwarded to me. You could have simply contacted the trustees and we could have told you what you wanted to know. Then I went on to say that citizens changed the way they handle government accounts in the second half of 2014. A notice was sent out, but the treasurer at the time did not receive it, so our account was not converted to their new system. When she walked out in 2015, the next treasurer did not do anything, not even get his name on the account. When he walked out, I took the position again and reached out to citizens to be sure our accounts were in order, and learned all of this and began the process of converting to the new system. My name was still on the account because the last two treasurers had not updated anything. If they had, the new system would have been known to them. The new way Citizens handles this account now is that we only have one account ending in this 0664. When the Institute for Savings account was closed, my name was still on that as well, which did make all of this easier. I deposited the money back into the Citizens account with the only deposit slips we had. Citizens assured me that even though the account number was not the one being used on now, the money would be in our account. Finally, the new system was in place, and I could write a check to close the old and deposit it to the new. So I literally deposited the 76 something into the Citizens, but in reality, then I had to write a check and move it to get into their new system. I could write a check to close out the old and deposit it into the new. Crazy. We have new checks and deposit slips too, which we do. We had to get all that now. Right now, myself and Charles Hermans are the signers on this account. I know that the relationship between the trustees and yourself has been rocky, and I'm not really sure as to why. The few times I have contacted you, unless it was an act, you were as I would expect a professional to be. I'm asking that in the future, copies of the monthly statements and any other correspondence from Citizens be given to the trustees. The former finance director simply made copies and put them in the trust email box at Town Hall. I need to see monthly statements to make sure that the activity shown is what I set in motion. This whole mess probably could have been avoided, but hindsight is 20/20. I hope that this is what you wanted to know, and if you need more, you will contact me. Okay. Then I received, this was sent to her on the 14th. On the 25th, so quite a bit of time later. She thanked me for the email. She wasn't sure why the relationship was rocky. She tries to always maintain the utmost professionalism and take great pride in her job and her fiduciary responsibility. That being said, there are some issues with this bank account we need to rectify. And then she goes on. Under Mass General Law 48 and 35, the town treasurer shall receive and take charge of all money belonging to the town and pay over an account for the same according to the order of the town. No other person shall pay any bill of any department. The town treasurer shall be the custodian of all funds and securities. Trust funds shall invest and reinvest them and expend therefrom monies as directed by the commissioners. With the exception of the town treasurer, no one may write a check out of any bank account. Every time you write a check, you are writing, meaning me, violating MGL law and the warrant process by circumventing the approvals. And not to mention the bank account and the general ledger account no longer reconcile because you are not reporting the checks that have been written. Our auditors may view this as fraudulent activity because there are no approvals made by necessary parties to withdraw those funds in accordance with Mass General Law, blah, 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 blah. Only jurisdiction trustees have over the funds is to make investment decisions. You may not move money or spend without permission. These funds are still and should be under the care and custodian of the town treasurer. At your earliest convenience, please contact Citizens Bank. Have me added to the account as a signer. In addition, please forward the authorization to the trustees, town accountant, and board of selectmen for check number 1001, which is the first check of the new thing, in the amount of $5,391.78. Absent that authorization, you must complete a bills payable cover sheet and provide backup. Already proved that for. Once we get the account in order, we must put a process in place for withdrawing funds. As again, I, as the town treasurer, am the only one who may legally withdraw or write out checks from any account under the town's tax ID number. I'm not sure if you're aware, but if you read Mass General Law 78, Section 10, and the Board of Trustees chooses a treasurer, they shall give a bond similar to that given by the town treasurer in amount with the sureties to the satisfaction of the selectmen. If you are not currently bonded, you should do so immediately. That must be kept up on an annual basis. If you are bonded, please forward a copy so that the bond we may have on file. Finally, regarding bank statements, you should ask Citizens to send you a duplicate. So if I'm out or forget, you can always get copies. I would be happy to discuss any more legal issues. Then I got back to her and said, sorry, hi Denise, sorry for the delay. I was working in my Boston office yesterday and accessing my personal email is difficult. I will bring the authorization and backup for check 1001 to Town Hall Monday. There has been no other activity on the account other than the earned interest. As you get a statement, you can verify this. I cannot make changes to the checking account without a vote by the trustees. It will be an item on our September 14th meeting agenda. The tone of your last email does not promote a good working relationship between departments. The library trustees, the selectmen, and the finance director have been working together for many years before you arrived in Groveland. Demanding and threatening will not work with me. Then, oh, wait a minute, now the email I just read to you, I'm out of order. I hate reading emails backwards like this. She came back to me again and said that she wanted to check on the status of the email, the one that she had written to me, because she saw me on a Monday night going through old Board of Selectmen minutes from 1998. And she said, we spoke briefly on Monday night. You made a reference to a decision by the Board of Selectmen in 98 that you were researching. However, I stand by my position as outlined below. The law is quite clear and I do not care what a previous Board of Selectmen or Finance Director allowed. I am now the fiduciary authority over all funds and would like this situation rectified immediately. As I've already requested, please contact Citizens Bank and have me added to the account as a signer. In addition, please forward the authorization for the check and any other checks. And she copy of the bond. She basically reiterated what she said in the other one. And then her final blow was, I would appreciate a response and verification of the change to the Citizens Bank as soon as possible, but no later than August 18th. Otherwise, I will need to take remedial action. That's when sorry for the delay, and mentioned that the tone of the email, okay. Then, that was the 12th. Then on the 5th, that was Friday the 12th that I emailed her. Over the weekend, I brought the copy of the minutes from May with the highlighted portion that said that we unanimously voted to write the check, allocate monies from appropriate trust funds to pay the $5,398 for SEPCO. I gave her that. I gave her the last page of the SEPCO bill, and I also gave her one other thing, which I will give the rest of you. Monday morning at 7:30, she emailed me, good morning, I'm in receipt of the documents under my door. Please provide the full SEPCO invoice. SEPCO invoice was 14 pages. I just gave her the last one because it had the total on it. So I made copies of the other 13 pages and gave her that so she has the whole thing. So that's done. Then she also she wants a warrant. That's something we have to talk about. In addition, you've indicated with a copy of City and Town, please provide specific bequests that identifies that trustees are custodians of the $5,391 with full power of management and disposition, as there is nothing on file with my office to identify any such account. And finally, I did not see a copy of your surety bond. When may I expect to see a copy of that? So now you know, I'm going to tell you about all these different things.
Can you just, for the record, tell the name of the person who sent you that email? You haven't
Denise.
said, yeah, but you haven't said her name, because being taped.
It's the finance director,
But I understand that, but.
and I'm not allowed to say her name
Oh,
because she's not here.
All right, okay.
The finance director.
Okay.
Okay, so, the two things that I put under her, or the three things I put on her door were, one, the May minutes, and I highlighted it just like this, and then she got the whole SEPCO bill. So that piece kept her happy for that part. Then the other thing I gave her, she mentioned this City and Town, and I would like everybody to look at this.
So City and Town is a newsletter that is put out by
It-
the
It's put out by the Department of Revenue, it says on the front page. The second page is what we need. I need to make sure I leave here with 5 copies. Already got one. And Jan, you want one? You got one?
Okay, we're good.
Everybody's good? Okay.
I'll have it.
The big thing is what I've got to turn to, so why don't you take a minute and read that?
Thank you.
Yeah, the first page is really nothing that pertains to it, but just wanted you to know where it was from. If you want to keep it, you can.
She just needs 5 copies.
But I do, I count them, I do, I'm fine, I'm good,
Oh, okay.
I'm good, I do.
Yes, I think the supplement.
Yeah, you need,
Yeah.
you get a copy of everything.
So, that seems to have satisfied part of her issues. Now, she needs proof that we have all this money bequeathed to us. It very clearly states in that answer, as long as the money was bequeathed to the trustees. So, I went searching for old wills that have been given to us, to tell us that we have money. The only one that I can lay my hands on is the one that I did in 2009. So, the important part of that is on the second page. See this?
Yeah.
Okay, the rest of it is all nicey nice, but that's. Well, did you not get one late? I'm sorry.
So they
I'm sorry.
they redacted the
Right, this is
information.
exactly what I
we
got, this is what I got, and the next page is where I received the money, and I had to sign this and send it back to them, and a copy of the check clearly made out to, But this is the only one I can find, and I still had the originals that's traveling around, and, with the deposit slip, which I'm from an anal about that kind of stuff. So, I will, do I have 5 copies? I don't know if I have 5 copies. I need to have, so I can give them to them. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have one? You've got one,
Yeah, I
okay.
have one, yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
I have enough now. If anybody else wants to keep theirs, they can. If not, I'll take them back.
Did you make one?
Okay, so that's that. Now, because we can't find the others, and some of them, when I went back through stuff Saturday, I could find things that go back 30 and 40 years that had paperwork showing what the trust funds had in them for dollar amounts, but nothing to do with anything like this, I bequeathed, blah, 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 blah. But as you know, we have always had these, and they're pretty straightforward,
The summary sheet.
of what each one does. So I think this should satisfy that requirement. I'm hoping. I mean, right now, I don't think we can do any better than this.
You have the amount, previously,
This is what we have for the selectmen. So that takes care of the bequeath part. The warrant issue, she wants us to do a warrant. I have been in contact with the former finance director and basically said, what's going on? You know, this is, all of a sudden, we're being told we have to do this, that, and the next thing. He goes, new person, she just wants to do it a new way. Okay. I said, what about this whole warrant thing? I said, he said, in 2005, he converted our trustee line of our money into a line item on the town budget and gave it an account number. You know how although our different library, the salary has a different account number. Well, we've never seen it, never heard about it. Now, I wasn't here in 2005, but ever since I've been on the board, we've never done this. And when I was the treasurer before, I never did a warrant. And it's not that it's a hard thing or a big thing. I mean, as you know,
We do
but
them all the time.
didn't know anything about it. So I said, so what gives with this? Why don't I know anything about this? He goes, well, he said, you guys write what, 1, 2, maybe 3 checks a year? He said, I just filled it out and to make the paperwork so he could make that line all make nice. And he said, I did the same thing for the interest that you earned every month.
So he did it for us.
So he was doing it. We can certainly do it, there's not an issue. But we need to have the account number that we should be making the warrant out.
On the town budget.
Yeah.
You know how the warrant sheets, you know, and they have an account number on them. And we don't have that, so we need to get that from her. I mean, she can't expect us to do a warrant if we don't have the numbers. Very simple. And then I need to know whether she's been updating the interest every month for the last year or whenever, you know, however long she's been here. Or should I make one blanket
To catch it up.
to catch it up?
So this is the
So that-
first check that you've written since the new finance director has been in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the last check we wrote was like in 2013. So,
And it happened to be by me. It was for the rolling shelves here in the youth room. That was the last check, but anyway.
because that was what I was thinking, you know, we usually write a check at least
Yeah.
once a year, but.
And generally, we do write a check, it's usually in the spring, to meet the materials budget, and as we all know what happened last year, we didn't, and we got caught, because we didn't know, because we weren't told, on and on and on. Okay, the last piece of this is the bond. The bond, I have, my credit score has taken a hit, because in order to get a bond, they have to do a whole thing on you, you know, and you know, when anybody pulls your numbers, so I don't have an 820 anymore, which pisses me off. 814 just doesn't sound good enough. Anyway, I have 2 quotes. They are quite far apart in price. One is $625, one is $363. Now, I think we should go with the 363 one when we get to that point. I do not think we should be writing a check for it, or, you know, filling out a warrant, you know, to get the check going, until we've had this meeting with the selectmen on Tuesday night.
So I will put the bond on our September 14th agenda.
Yeah, and I already have a warrant sheet, but I got the number and, see? I don't just do anything. So now I'm open for questions.
So Charlie, you had a question.
no,
Well,
I was going first, she's gonna leave.
I don't know if you answered.
Okay, well,
Or you
that's what I
wanted-
was hoping.
Right, right.
That's what I was hoping.
And I will need copies of everything you just did for the correspondence. for the
Right, all the
minutes.
email
Right,
trail.
all that,
All the emails, okay, I'll make
but you know
copies.
what, if you wanted to give it to me at the end after the Monday meeting, Tuesday meeting,
Yeah, I'll make
just for the
copies.
records, cause I don't have to get this right down,
Yeah, I'll make
does that make
copies.
sense?
Yeah, and you took one of these, right?
Yes, I have everything else you
Okay.
pointed out, except for your,
Okay, I can do that.
I have a question.
Yes,
I'm a little bit fuzzy about this. When the library makes purchases for books and things like that, how do the vendors get paid?
the warrants that you go in and
Right.
sign,
Mhm.
those warrants are then taken to town hall and given to Jackie, who's the town accountant.
Okay,
And she actually produces the checks, and then they get signed.
okay.
by the
Alright.
town.
Then it comes out of our account or comes out of the town? Okay.
Well, it comes out of,
The library
it's,
budget.
it's the
Right.
library budget, but it's
Right.
part of the
Right,
town,
right, okay,
yeah.
okay.
This is the trust funds.
Right.
This is
Which
just
are like-
trust
Oh,
fund.
this, okay,
Yeah.
I
This is
understand.
just
This is
trust
only
fund.
the
Is this
question
the-
of the trust fund.
Oh.
So at the end of the year, we, last
Fiscal year.
fiscal year, we, knew we had to spend some money from trust funds in
Right.
order to meet the, 19%
The minimum material spending.
minimum material spending. So that's when, and this one bill, the SEPCO, is it?
Yeah, it was SEPCO bill.
Had a nice, like $5,000
Yeah.
check, so we
Right.
paid that
We
whole
paid that.
bill, rather than getting very confusing and paying a
Yeah.
piece of it, so we paid the whole bill
So,
from trust funds.
so the concern from the town treasurer is that she wants more oversight over how the trust fund is being spent?
Initially, she wanted to have control of it,
Okay,
but by giving her this information that clearly states that the Supreme Court of Massachusetts says, no, if the money's been bequeathed to a specific group, you know, like trustees, we can control it and spend it and that.
okay.
So that part I think she understands that because I gave her that with the other pieces that I gave, you know, so that she would have that. It's just, we wanna just tie up the warrant, the bond, and what was the other thing?
And I actually do have a question about
Yeah.
the bond. So often you need to be bonded to receive and to, write. So, you actually don't need, libraries don't need to be bonded to receive money based on another Massachusetts general law, but we need to be bonded to write a check from
Yeah.
our.
I mean, cause basically, I could write all this money up and buy myself, you know, a swimming pool or something. And that's what the bond is, you know, that if I should misappropriate funds, because you hear about this, you know, little league coach and a hockey league coach and, you know, different people in different functions, you know, they just sort of squirrel away money. Well, that's what this is to protect.
Mhm.
So Charlie, I think your question was, do we have the amounts on the,
No,
accounts,
we
but we don't need the, we've
But you
never,
had them at one time,
we all,
right?
we have them on
Yeah,
separate
yes.
documents.
Right, that's what I meant.
but
You had 'em
It's
separate.
never been on this one document where we, it's like the crib sheet for all new
Right, but I just,
trustees.
I remember seeing, just
Okay,
asking
so-
that you had.
Yeah,
Okay. The
And-
next question I have, if Denise, once you gave her
Yes.
this document, she recognized and still wants to go and pursue this to get the,
She wants the warrant, the bond, and the,
she still wants to go forward and take control of signing.
no,
No.
she hasn't said that in
Okay.
any subsequent emails, no. But she wants us to do a warrant, and she wants us to be bonded. And she wants to know about the funds, if they've all been, if we have bequests for this $5,300 dollars. And, yeah, we do, we've got lots of bequests.
And you mentioned before that, you said she wants the warrant. What's the warrant?
so it's just we need to know the account numbers in order for us to fill
give
out
her
a
a
warrant.
warrant.
And the warrants used to be done by the finance director, previous finance
Yeah,
director.
he just did it because it only happened once a year, or
So you
twice
mean
a
the
year.
warrant for the $5,000?
No, the dollars,
Yeah,
right.
I mean, yeah, we can give her that in the
Yeah.
future, any other checks that we would write,
Right.
Once we
we
have the
would just
account.
automatically do that.
And
And I would
Barbara,
have it at bring it to a meeting, everybody signs it, and we turn it in, and, you know, done.
And you have requested before getting copies of the citizens'
Yes, and I talked to citizens, and they will not mail out two, but they have, now they're emailing it to me. Remember, because I printed that one that was
Right.
25 pages or 22
Right.
pages or
So
whatever.
it's
it was.
automatically sent to the town?
Yes, she gets it.
Okay. And
Yeah,
all
so
you
she
ask-
always knows what's going on, and that's how the former finance director used to always know
Look at that.
what to do. He would see, oh, they wrote a check, and then he'd make out the warrant. And he always knew we did it in the spring, and he knew why, because he was very cognizant of us, making sure we got that state aid grant.
And that's really only the only time we really touch those.
Usually.
For the most
For
part,
the most
yeah.
part, or a big purchase, like bookshelves,
Like when we did the
or,
shelves or something,
you know,
yeah.
I think we got a new rug or
The
something
rugs.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You know,
but
that's what trust funds are.
Children's,
It's
yeah.
So
not like-
if we decided reading what one of these funds are for, which is for a new children's room.
that money just sits.
Right, but if we decided, we the board, that we wanted to add on to the children,
Then we could tap that fund.
okay,
Right.
now, we going forward, and if she decides, I don't agree with our decision, is that then
Nope.
going before the board of trustees?
No,
Board of
Board
Selectmen.
of Selectmen, right?
no.
So it's our decision
Yes.
completely, so we then
Yes.
have nothing to lose by doing what she says.
Oh, you mean by having her sign the?
Yeah, because if we still, if I'm looking at it, if we still can spend the money of the, what's in a different trust funds where we want, I was wondering if she would be a roadblock, and if she disagreed with how we were gonna spend it, if you wanted to.
Let me tell you something, some history. Apparently, before 1998, there were some issues with how the library trust fund money was spent by the town, by a former treasurer person. And that's when the trustees here decided they wanted to take it back under their wing. So I think, and knowing that we have the law on our side, I think we should just keep it the way it is.
Barbara had a good suggestion as to where to pay for the bond, which we will discuss at the 14th meeting, but we have the line item for dues for that we pay MVLC out of, so there's money in
Some
that
money
line
left in
item.
that item.
So, because, you know, $300, $350 is something to, for
Yeah,
us.
as my husband said, don't you dare pay for that.
Yeah,
No.
and
I said,
that
"Trust me,
is
trust me."
something to consider too. It is for the person, it's not for the role, and it's not for the role of the trustees, so it's bonding, Barbara
Yeah,
individually,
I had
so
to,
like,
you know, tell them how much my mortgage is and how
Yeah.
much money we make.
so, you know,
and,
like, I would never.
mean, they did a full credit
I've
card
been in
thing.
that position where I've
Yeah.
been bonded.
Yeah,
And,
so-
you know, so it's like,
I just
when I
wanted to
send my
make that
credit
clear,
card
that's,
scored, let's see that magic.
that's, you know, that's a leap of faith for people to take that role and,
yeah.
and
But it would be
added
for a year, so
responsibility.
which would get us out of our cycle of normally switching in the spring, but I don't think it's that big of a deal because it's that important to do.
Right, and, we talked about that we were in a different cycle and that, Anne may need to change being vice chair later on after everything, because of her school schedule. So, it
So
might
maybe the fall will,
become our new time.
yeah. Okay, are there any other questions?
And you did great, I appreciate it.
We're going to meet with, we've been, as I said, we've been requested to show up at the selectmen's meeting Tuesday night. We don't know what time yet, they will let us know. And, as many of you that wanna show up, fine, if you have something to add to it.
Right, cause it is, you know, cause the whole board has, a say in our trust funds, which are, you know, one of our big,
Fiduciary
Yeah,
responsibility.
to our trust
And we've
funds.
always voted on how everything is spent, so
and I assume in 1998 or at some time, all of the data was there. And since
And
then,
it's
we've been
missing.
using and we can't
missing.
find it.
Yeah.
You know, there's no electronic copies from back then.
Selectmen start at 7?
They
we don't
start
know.
at 6:45, 6:30.
6:30.
6:30, they have an open forum that people can stand
And-
up, but then we're gonna have a scheduled time,
Okay.
but I don't know what it is,
Okay, I was late last night because I thought it was 7. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
you know, but we might not be on until 8 o'clock,
Yeah.
I just don't know.
And then, you know, and that's a loose 8 o'clock too.
Yeah, depends
But whatever it
with
is.
that open forum, how long that.
Jan, do you have any questions? Or thoughts?
No.
So, excellent. Does anybody want to make a motion to adjourn? Laurel,
Laurel
Get to our
makes the
next
motion to
And-
adjourn.
And, seconded by
I'll second.
Charlie,
Alright,
all in
say-
favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
7:36.
Say goodnight.
Say goodnight.
Say goodnight.